Phillips, and it is my honor to introduce Ezelle Patton tonight. Pinnate poems, innate psalms, writing on boughs, stalks, and stems. Ezelle Patton's poetry is a social and ecological practice. These pinnate poems, an invitation to arrange, or gather on the same axis, to bloom together and access our hands. Her innate psalms built within a sonic urgency. With the knowledge that there is a hunger for lyric, ears that need sound, sound that needs space. Quote, moving back and forth between visual impressions of sound to live recitation with its sonorous peaks and plains and valleys, Patton writes, I seldom look before I leap, unquote. And when she does, her poetics live in uncommon and immersive containers, the language itself balmy with the heat of connotation. Sound is counter-narrative and quip. Patton's poetry and intertwined performative practices engage in a continual act of unfolding, of deep and irreverent play, writes Leanne Brown in Patton's feature this month in Chicago Review. It's what has secured Patton's voice in my head. I hear her language. If I'm lying, I'm flying, and I ain't seen a bird all day. In this poetic, it is of utmost importance to shirk the muzzle of earnestness and scale. Ezelle Patton writes like no other. She creates immersive books you can enter and inhabit. As a core fellow at the Houston Museum of Fine Arts in the early 80s, Patton created room-size installations. She applied ink to paper using her body, crawling, and likens this action in her interview with Jennifer Scapitone in Chicago Review to sweeping. Quote, because when you crawl around or work on the paper with ink, when you throw it up against something, you get the sound implied by the thrust, the rhythm, its prosody, it's the measurement between. Writing on boughs, stalks, and stems. Patton's forms evoke forms, the rituals of her craft interlaced with what is viable. If we want, quote, if we want to become true humans, we become instruments sensitive enough for the forms to hone us, Patton says during a recent collection study for the Roberts Institute of Art, quoting the Tiwa Elder Beautiful Painted Arrow. She sings the last words, hone us, emphasizing continuous instrumentation of self. At the architectural intersection of Patton's practices is a blueprint for living through sound and color and hospitality. The building, a space and project described by Patton as both noun and verb, is the site of her living architecture, a book building in the form of a 6-flat apartment complex turned artist co-op that harbors installations as well as everyday life, a space that exists with no distinction between living and creation, ever forthcoming. The building in Glenville, Cleveland, projects that the walls of a building are its pages and the artist's life itself is what fills them. Ezelle Patton is a poet, visual artist, performer, sculptor, and permaculturist. She received her BFA from Antioch College in 1979. Patton's poetics take the form of scrolls, extended texts, limited edition work, performances, and site-specific installations. She is the author of several poetry collections, including Teething on Type, Using Blue to Get Black, and Writing with Crooked Ink. Patton's work has appeared in I'll Drown My Book, Conceptual Writing by Women, Sarah Riggs's The Nerve of Pestle, About Place Journal, Rust Belt Tales, and Cecilia Vicuna's Sound Keeper. Patton has received a New York Foundation for the Arts Poetry Fellowship, a Mellon Learning Fellowship, and Acadia Arts Foundation grant, and was a finalist for the National Poetry Series. Patton is also a Doanbrook Watershed Hero. She has taught at Teachers and Writers Collaborative, Learning Through Art, at the Guggenheim Museum, Case Western Reserve University, and Naropa University. Her collection of creative projects, Jaywalking Through the Alphabet, 1979 through the present, debuts with Nightboat Books in 2025. Patton currently resides and works in Cleveland, Ohio, where she continues to advocate the artistic legacies of Teresa Rainey, Leonard Maynard, and her mother, Virgie Ezelle Patton. Please join me in welcoming Julie Ezelle Patton.
That was amazing. Thank you. I don't know how you get find people. That is a lot. Really, really beautiful. So I'm gonna just get dressed here. So, where are we? Books galore. It's good to see you. Oh. I gotta level myself. This is actually my first presentation of my work in Cleveland. Wow. Ever. Wow. Thank you, Sam. And it's a real honor to be here with you. And in the spirit of home, I'm going to take a cue from you. I don't have, is this being recorded? Oh, that's too bad. No, what was I gonna say? I am in books. I like to create installations in books where I gather the material I am exploring at any given moment, but everything is always in flux because of that. And it was interesting to leave the idea of being a visual artist and at a younger age, much younger age, because spaces like this, literary events, I discovered when I returned back to New York City, that they offer an expansive space of imagining and participation and community in a way that you're in a visual art situation, you're often solo. Sure, you may create in a solo context, but a lot of the work that ends up on the page is recited in the moment, in moments like this, or one might scribble something and then read it, and then after the reading, other thoughts jump into the text, and that's why it keeps getting bloated, falling back, or one of the reasons. Primer. Should have seen the lake today. Water so still, almost as if skies conjured up a mirror to see itself. Birds shucking and jiving off a sudden encounter with themselves. Take off on blue notes, inked in conversation silhouette. Mother, daughter, tit for tat, and peekaboo. And guess who? Blue, in, enter, view, using blue to get black. What kind of blue you use to get water, mama? Water, color, or the color of water? Water as in wet Terra H2O, oil, or watercolor. Any medium will do. Blue depends on the subject matter. Blue is the subject, but doesn't the medium matter, mutter? Not really. Let's see. Blue. Well, take that blue over there. Watercolor as a carrier of water. Probably add white to vary the tones. Probably blue, your favorite. Tone it down to get that blue. You could almost use cobalt blue, pure except to vary the tones. Ultramarine too, that's even darker, yes, but still a truish hue. The blue you use depends on other colors in the painting. Yes, the rest of the image determines which blue varies from moment to moment. Cobalt, ultramarine, cerulean has a tinge of green. There are other blues I could use, primary of all the blues. Most things I do seem to call for that kind of blue, and I'm going blue for miles around. That kind of blue, it's in response to Ace Sam's, John Coltrane, a love supreme, a love supreme. A love supreme says over 1 million, starting with other colors in the pain, in the pain. Is this real? This is real. Yes. Kind of blue, 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 blood, 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 blue blood. Very true to me as a medium, as a medium. Blue, 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 you mean a medium bloom. Green tweed. I'm looking at this color on TV in the background. Why you crack at that paint and look at TV at the same time, you boo-doo-doo? Because water at a distance gets darker or lighter. Just add streaks. I use that blue for figures, apply it to probably cause. Yes, I do, all the time, especially black figures. I've done figures using blue for the undertones because our skin, when you look at M, I equal M to have more in, and they're in too, and lacks more you, but sometimes here's blue in their skin too. Also violet, a tinge of hue blue in their skin too. Juju blue lets you use blue to get black. It's what's black. Pale color. Height people. Height. I never liked to use being used by colored language. It's one thing to be called such a thing on your birth certificate. It's another thing to claim that it's true. A blah bluish, how you imblue it, depending on the intensity of the light surrounding things. There's a violet blue that can come out in brown skin. Sometimes I add a little bit of when I use the blues. Even if it's of mixed colors, I put a bit of black in it to bring it down. Gray the blue or blue the gray. Otherwise, use orange. It's opposite for changing blues to gray the blues. Arrive at the right tone, then go after value. The darker you pit a bit of black or umber, don't have to be black. Pit a bit of black, did I say? So many variations. All those earth colors you could use with dim. So the lac figures in this series involve blue to bring out the contours and highlight of all those figures. Definitely blue, just blue to get black. You know, I use blue and similar black, blue is anyway. If you make it black, you must use it deep off from the moon. ultramarine, ultramarine, you get a richer black. Ultramarine, put blue in the black, you use your deepest blues, and add burnt umber red to get a deep black. You can even add purple dioxide, is other form, it depends on what you want to see through. The color beneath people through navel yellow, white navel yellows, limoncello. It's just a natural color, to say neutral. Depends on your tone, you want to think blue, think on tone is a high or low edge. Purple can be blue or red, even biggest red is violet too, like a background color. For background color for people, violet or violent, purps can be people too. Purple, add mixture, red and blue. So take an extension of the blues peeping through. Thank you.